Sorry, guys. I'm so tired. I'm late to this call too because I didn't sleep well last night. My Oura Ring, my smart ring, actually told me I was having a nap. That's how bad my sleep was.
That's not great when the technology is like, well, this can't count as sleep, so I
Doesn't
guess
even
I'll just chart
count.
it up as a
Yeah.
nap.
So that's actually why I feel like I couldn't have an Oura Ring, because I've done other things. Like I had a smart mattress pad at one point. There was a brand called 8 Sleep, like
Oh yeah,
the number spelled out. And they had a smart mattress pad that and anytime I've had data on sleep, I think about the fact that, like, I wonder if it thinks I'm asleep. Like, I'm like, still, does it think I'm asleep or awake? My mind spinning kicks into high gear because I'm kind of a natural insomniac, like surviving in this world. And so I feel like I'm so easily pulled there. And the idea of anything measuring how asleep I am sends me, I feel like.
that's so interesting.
I think about the measurement. And then when I see it the next day, I'm like, oh, I didn't sleep well. And I'm like upset about it or ashamed, or it's data that it doesn't serve me. I think that's, which is a helpful realization. I think that there are a lot of streak tracking type things in the world. And I think that some of it doesn't serve you. And I think if it doesn't, you shouldn't look at it. If it's not serving to motivate you positively, like, you just really shouldn't look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the streaks in particular are just really problematic when you have ADHD. But like, I feel like it's annoying because, like it does with most people, when I first start a streak, it is motivating. Like, it does have that extra kind of energy. And like, I do I've done the Duolingo thing before where I'm long to learn this thing. Oh, got to check in every day, and I'm doing it. I got the streak going. It feels good. But the problem is, the second I miss one day, it's just like any amount of energy I had positive towards doing the thing, it's now like triple that the other way. Now I have zero interest to get back, and it's just completely fallen apart. And
like,
then I just fall off that
crash landing, right?
Yes,
From like this
100%.
soaring high, and then boom.
And I'm almost like, I'm never doing that ever again now. I'm deleting the app. I don't even want to check in tomorrow because I missed a day.
I'm the same.
It's
Yeah,
all over.
if I miss one day, it's catastrophic, and it's kind of this all or nothing thing where I'm all in. I'm getting my streak. I miss one day. That's it. I'm all out, and then I never look at it again.
Never see it again.
Goodbye. Yep. I'm done.
I think the ADHDers are especially prone to this, but it's true for everyone, honestly, that if motivation's fleeting, right, it doesn't last. So something else has to be driving you other than that, the motivation or whatever good feeling you get from it happening, or else it negatively impacts everyone. But I feel like for ADHDers, it's like, light it on fire. Like, I'm done.
Right.
Like, delete the app, or, well, probably just keep the app on my phone forever until it
Yeah,
like,
just delete it from my homepage, but keep it there with the data that I'll ignore for 3 years.
I mean, really, it is. It's crazy like that. And there's a lot of shame that goes with it too, because we also try a lot of new things and invest in those things sometimes.
The Oura Ring's actually, I don't know, I've had a funny relationship with it. So I've probably had it for about 5 years or so. This is the Oura Ring 2. So it's actually quite old. And I kind of went through a phase where I wore it every day. And then I was like, well, I'm not actually learning anything from it because it's all the same. Like, my sleep, the average, because it tells you like an average over the weeks, months, years. I was like, the average is the same forever. So maybe I don't need to wear it. Then I took it off. But then I was kind of just wondering, like, oh, am I on track? Am I on track? So then I started wearing it again. So now I kind of just wear it. And it's also a bit like a fidget thing for me. So I'll be playing with it and stuff all the time.
Does it read that as activity? Does it think you just like ran around the block?
No, it doesn't. It's smart enough for that, but it's kind of good because it's a fidget that's always on me. You know, like it's yeah.
They actually have rings that are kind of. Well, I have
the spinning ones, right?
I have an engagement ring and a wedding band that aren't connected, so that's I'm like always doing this and spinning it around, and so I kind of have that built in too. I love that. I have this memory. I think I also maybe am bitter toward the Oura Ring because there was somebody in my life who, like, I had a newborn and they visited, and it was a particularly bad night. Like, I like genuinely slept maybe an hour total. Like, it was just awful. And they were like, just like pulling up their data randomly on their Oura Ring app and like, wow, I slept 10 hours last night. And I was like, cool. Like, I feel like they like looked me in the eye and didn't even, and it was kind of a thing where I couldn't actually like call them out. It wasn't that type of moment or relationship. And I just was also like, don't rub your sleep in my face. Pin a rose on your nose. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. I work really hard for the sleep I get.
I'm kind of similar to Marie, where I got mine, I think 2 years ago, maybe. And at first I thought it was really cool when I was tracking it. And then I kind of, at some point, I was like, I don't even look at this data. Why do I have this ring on my finger that's kind of annoying? Because it's a little bit thicker.
It's a little bulky.
Yeah, it's a little bulky for a ring, so I don't love it. I have it on my left finger. At first, I tried to put it on my right hand. I was like, I can't even hold my phone right. It's like knocking into.
Oh my God. I've got permanent scratches on my phone.
Yeah.
From the ring. Yeah, I was like, it's when you feel it, it's not that sharp, but it's still sharp enough to scrap.
It's only a little bit more bulky than like a normal ring, but it's just enough to like sort of be there. Like, especially if it's in the hand that you normally hold the phone in. So I have it in my left hand, so that I don't have that anymore. But I was just sort of like, am I even using this? I don't know. And I took it off for a while. And then I can't even remember what sparked it. Probably like a few months where I didn't wear it. And then I was just like, I kind of wish I had that data. I wish I could look and see where the lines are, just as sort of like motivational sort of thing of like, I want to see the line go up. I want to do the thing that feels like I'm making forward progress in this, and see something positive happen in the stat sheet or whatever. And so I started wearing it again. And I don't think it's actually helped my sleep habits at all, but it's kind of fun to look at the numbers in the charts sometimes. But yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm not acting on the data, but there's something about it that is nice to know that it's there, that it's being saved somewhere.
You know what I also treat it as? Like a little reminder. Like, you know how some people used to like tie a string on their finger as a reminder, and sometimes certain apps
like the old school.
Yeah, it's old school, and certain apps have an icon with a finger and a string as like a reminder thing. I kind of use it for that too. So for me, it's also a reminder to try and stay healthy, or try and sleep better, or try and walk. So when I see it, I sort of look at it that way.
That's a great reason. I support that. Yeah. I think, and also I like the daytime activity monitoring. I have had phases in my life where I've kind of been more of a follower of steps and counting steps, but I'm not in that era right now. I'm more kind of like, sometimes we'll look back and be like, wow, this has been a really active week. Or I find them novel and interesting, kind of like you, Jesse. It's
novelty
notable.
Is really what I kind of, that's what I'm drawn to really more than anything.
Yeah. I'm also curious. I'll sometimes turn them on for like studio workouts because I'm curious. There's different types of classes, and sometimes I'm curious if one is like a harder workout than another, just kind of referential stuff. But actually the number one use of my Apple Watch, which I do wear every day, is to find my phone. Because I set my phone down and there's like just a 2-click thing on your Apple Watch to just beep, 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 beep your phone. And I use it, no joke, 3 times a day. Not joking. And it's usually like in the same room.
A lot of the times, like maybe I'll suddenly, like just recently I started like riding a bike with the kids. And so I've been doing like a couple of bike rides. And when something like that happens where I'm like, oh, I've made some sort of change in my life, it's nice that I have some data to compare to. Because I wouldn't have thought, it's not like I would have said, oh, I'm going to start riding my bike in 3 weeks. So why don't I start recording some data so that I have something to compare to? And so it's almost just like by having the ring, this is maybe starting to sound like it's a sales pitch or something.
Don't worry, I'll still talk negatively about Oura just to balance it out.
Yeah, actually, I do have some negative things to say about Oura. But anyway, it's almost just like setting a baseline so that when I do make some sort of change, I have something to refer back to.
Or if you feel good or something, you can go look back and be like, oh, maybe it's because of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I actually experienced this firsthand. So I had the baseline for about 3 years or 4 years or something. And I made a massive change last year. So I became vegetarian. And I actually saw like very, very quickly, like in a month, my resting heart rate dropped by 10 beats.
Wow.
And it's definitely that.
I love the idea of just the perpetual data being collected. And that's so cool. Like you could see that about yourself and the health, like your health tracking. That's really great.
But it was exactly what Jesse said. So I wasn't actually looking for it. I just had the baseline. And then one day I was looking at my resting heart rate. I was like, wait a second. the average has been this for so many years. Like, what happened? And then I traced it back and I was like, oh, that's literally when I started, changing my diet. And since then I've been like kind of watching heart rate. Like I like looking at the heart rate overnight, not so much during the day.
Oh, overnight. Oh, wait, so this was overnight?
The Ring I think it only tracks your resting heart rate at night. The Oura
And
Ring.
you want it lower? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. So a lower resting heart rate is better. In general, this is not health advice or blah, blah, blah.
Follow Dr. Jesse.
If I go out for a late meal or I have like a couple of glasses of wine or something, my resting heart rate will be like super high.
Yeah, I was going to say you can, if I look at my like my year chart or whatever of my resting heart rate, you can see exactly when conferences are, because I basically don't really drink for the most part. But when I'm at a conference, I usually will socially drink with people. And then, that my resting heart rate like spikes for those weeks or whatever.
Although, fun fact about Jesse does not and has never had a hangover, is what he's, which I find fascinating.
I really think it's because I didn't drink for so long. And so I kind of, I have no idea, but
wouldn't that make it worse?
Yeah, I don't know how it works, Marie. I don't know what's going on.
Age and quantity. I mean, like quantity obviously is probably the biggest factor.
Yeah.
Hydration. Yeah. I don't really get them that much anymore because I just don't drink enough for them, but I could. Like if I decided to drink a lot today, I would have a hangover tomorrow. It's like basic math for me, but it's good. It's a good demotivator. I do think that, back to data. Sorry. Let's turn back to the data side. I think it seems like some of the stuff that's coming up here, and I feel like, I wonder if this is a common thread with ADHDers, is if they're emotional, I think that maybe it's similar to the kind of rejection-sensitive dysphoria or some of that feelings that come up for ADHDers, maybe more than others. But if it feels critical, I kind of rebel against it, I think, more heavily.
Critical, like negative.
Critical, negative, or I guess if it's stirring up shame, I guess, and that's... maybe just person to person, just like someone who had like disordered eating or had an exercise disorder probably shouldn't be looking at steps, or that would be triggering for them maybe. For me, I've struggled so much with sleep over my life that I think I just have bigger feelings about it. And that data feels more sensitive to me.
I think you hit the nail on the head at the beginning, Sharon, because you said, if it doesn't serve you, then don't do it. That's the key thing. I do it because it does serve me, and I think for ADHD, like, if I don't get a good night's sleep, it's definitely worse for me. I mean, it's bad all the time, but like, it's definitely worse if I'm tired.
If you look at the list of symptoms of sleep deprivation, it's almost a Venn diagram with ADHD symptoms. They line up so much. And so like having any sort of issues with sleep is going to make your ADHD, the negative aspects of it, feel even more difficult because they line up so much.
As often sometimes when some people become parents, that they're like this whole like people are all of a sudden having ADHD, or the intense sleep deprivation has magnified something that was already there that they kind of started noticing after sleep.
Yeah, I think the challenging thing for me though is also like I'm a night owl. I don't know about you guys, but I go to bed really late naturally, and I try to go to bed earlier. But if it was up to me, I'd just be up, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that.
There's a thing called delayed sleep phase syndrome, which is basically night owl. Like you go to bed way later than most people. And it's extremely correlated with ADHD. I saw a study that said it was like 85% of people with ADHD have delayed sleep phase syndrome. And I heard that number and I was like, that seems really high.
Really high, yeah.
Like way too high. And then I like surveyed my audience, and it was like 87% said, yeah, I have that. So I think, I mean, unofficial Twitter survey or whatever, but it was like thousands of people responded. And I think it really is just super common when you have ADHD to have that delayed sleep phase syndrome, combined with the, what do they call it? Revenge bedtime.
Revenge bedtime. I was going to say, that's
what's that?
It is basically you are busy all day and you're like planning. I think parents talk about it a lot because you do all your stuff and you like the kids get home and you have to do all their stuff and you literally haven't had a second to yourself. And so instead of going to sleep like you should, you kind of are like, I will claim back my time in this very skewed sense of reality because then you like stay up 3 more hours, go to bed past midnight, and then are up at 6 a.m. again, starting it all over.
But you often aren't even thinking that.
No,
like that's sort of like the motivation happening in your brain kind of behind the scenes of like, well, now I'm going to take control back and this is going to be me time because I haven't been able to have any me time all day. And so that's why it's this revenge that you're like trying to get back what you feel like you've lost throughout the day.
And I do it all the time.
Yes.
I do notice at midnight, I'll be like, what time is it? And then I'll be like, oh, it's because I wanted peace. And that's why I'm just sitting in the dark corner of my living room doing nothing.
No, but the thing is, I don't have kids, but I still do this. So
when
so
it's midnight, it's not kids only. That's like sometimes it can happen for parents. It happens a lot with ADHD because people with ADHD, you live in a neurotypical world. So a lot of time throughout your day, you're feeling a little bit out of control. And also because you have time blindness. And so you're losing track of time. You feel like you're losing all this time throughout the day. And so you feel like at night, well, as long as I stay up, I still have time in the day. And you just stay up until it's like 3 or 4 in the morning.
For me, it's also because like during the day, it's noisy, it's distracting, and my brain's working overtime to kind of filter out that noise and try and focus on what I'm supposed to. And I actually realized, I read this yesterday actually, that your brain actually takes like 20 to 25% of like your energy for the day. Like it burns 20 to 25% of energy. And if you're trying extra hard to focus and to keep stuff out, like that probably burns even more. And so
and
for
if
me,
you're
when it gets
forgetting to eat.
And you're forgetting to eat, so you're running on empty. You got nothing.
Yeah.
And then when it's midnight, it's usually quiet. And suddenly my brain's like, ooh, it's working again. And then I'm like, yeah, it's midnight. I better do all this stuff. I've got this bill to pay, or I want to like research something go down a rabbit hole or something, or I'm reading something, or I suddenly want to watch a TV show. I don't know. Just like suddenly I just get a second wind and I'm like, let's do all the things. And then it's like 2:00.
I'm definitely naturally a night owl. I think if I have my own, like school has like a start time. So I feel like I'm not in control because I have my own business. I could actually start working at 10, and then work more at night or all that. But society forces us sometimes to have a different schedule. But so I do go to bed earlier than I used to because I feel like I kind of have to, but I'm the last person in bed for sure. And I putter too. Like that's like when I get energy, I'm like, should I clean out this closet? like this
Perfect.
Random little closet that no one ever goes to and no one would ever notice I did. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, now's the time. Now is the time to get that done. We are like 20 minutes in, and I did want to make sure we do go around the horn and do some business updates. So I'd just love to see, what's been going on. Marie, let's start with you. How's Llama Life going?
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to call me out.
I'm not calling you out. I didn't.
It's going okay.
Yeah, is that an indicator of how
well
it's going? That you feel called out just for a business update?
Yeah, okay. Maybe I don't even need to do one because like that kind of tells you everything, right? Like it's going okay. Could have been a better week, I think, in terms of productivity. But I've been doing more behind the scenes stuff, like admin stuff, which kind of needs to be done. I don't know. I feel like I actually haven't made that much progress this week. But I did get a very nice email yesterday from a customer that I don't know who they are, but they just wrote me a note saying, hey, I'm just checking in with you to see if everything's okay. I haven't heard from you like recently or have seen an update recently. And they just basically said, just checking in. And also they said, just want to let you know Llama Life really helps me. It gets me out of procrastination. So they kind of gave me a lot of different things in this email. They kind of gave me like, really care about you. The product really helps me. And I don't know, it kind of just gave me a bit of motivation. So I was really, it was really nice.
That's awesome.
I was like, I don't really know other companies where like a customer would write that to. I would never write that to another company. Like I'm just trying to think of all the products I use. I don't think I'd ever do that.
Special kind of customer, I think, too.
It's a special exactly.
Product, like a product that's very clearly from a founder on a mission, which you are, and then a special type of customer who, because we get that with Shelpful a little bit too, but it's not in my personality to sit down and write kind of a sweet note like that.
Yeah, there was nothing else. So like didn't seem like there was any ulterior motive. They weren't asking for any features. They weren't they didn't have any questions or anything. It was literally just a, hey, I'm just checking in kind of email because I love your product and I just want to make sure you're okay. And I was like, oh, that's so nice, you know?
Did you reply to it yet?
Yeah. Of
okay,
course.
just making sure. Just ADHD accountability. You never know. Like,
the funny thing is I had about 20 emails to reply to, like for customer support. And I just replied to that one. And I was like, I can't do the rest.
I'm done.
Oh, man.
But I'm going to do the rest today.
Nice.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good email. We like those.
Yeah, we need to save those in a little folder. So when we do need that
your
motivation.
Smile file.
Smile file. Good one. Yep.
Yeah, someone may have wrote about keeping a smile file in a book. Check it out. Extra Focus.
Extrafocus.com. .net.com.
Yeah, extrafocus.com, and then the book is extrafocusbook.com. But I'll go ahead and go. So my business, I don't know, it's kind of in a weird spot right now. So I just wrapped up doing all the video for the course, which has been great. So I sold the course like 2 months ago, and it's been like doing drip content. So like a new module every week or whatever. And so earlier this week, I finished editing and posted the last module for the course, which is awesome because like, yay, I'm done. I did it. The course is good to go. And now I have to figure out what to do now to bring in revenue. Like, do I jump to release the course again? It's only been 2 months since I did like a launch before. And so now I'm trying to decide, do I want to launch it again now? Or I've also been sort of working on building a community that I have, like the people that joined the course are in sort of this community. And that's another thing I'm thinking about launching.
Harder to monetize, maybe?
Well, possibly. I mean, the upside is it's more recurring. And so if you do a membership, it's a recurring revenue model.
They pay to be in the community. Got it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like people pay more to be in a community. Well, me personally, I would pay more to be in a community than for a product for some reason. Like say it's like $50 a year to be in a community. I'm just making up these numbers. It feels like, yeah, I'd pay that versus $50 for a product. I don't know why. Like, that's just me.
Didn't you just show us like a really expensive phone you just bought like yesterday?
Called out. Not just an expensive phone, but specifically a phone you bought as a toy. Because you already have a phone.
Yeah, just because it was so cool and fun. I'm sorry, Maureen.
Wait, Jesse,
are you talking about an app?
Didn't you buy a Vision Pro like when it came out? Like,
catching strays.
Yeah, what is this? What is this? I returned it. I had it for a little while.
I was the one who called you out, Marie. No,
goodness.
but were you talking about like apps specifically, Marie? Sorry,
yeah, sorry,
I couldn't resist because you also love apps. Products. I like know that about you, so that's why I was I don't think she's telling. I don't think she's thinking this through. I can't think of a community I've paid to be in. This isn't against you, Jesse. I'm just thinking about it. Like workout stuff, that's a community. I feel like you're essentially buying into a community sometimes if there's things around that.
So one thing I've been considering doing, like there's like a million options right now. That's the problem I'm having is like the decision fatigue. There's too many things and all of them could work if I do them the right way. And so I'm just trying to figure it out. But one thing I've considered is like selling the course and having the community like advertised as like part of it. Like buy the course and you'll like get 3 months into the community or something like that. And then potentially add like once you've been there 3 months, well, hey, pay this much to stay here for another year or 6 months or whatever. And so that's another one of those things.
And you've also, your personality and the information you put out there, I feel like could draw like a really great community together. And we're spoiled because we have each other. Like we talk every couple of weeks, and we have some WhatsApp chats with other ADHD. So I think that if people haven't had that,
right,
in terms of like
that's so huge,
feeling
that.
heard and saying, is this just me or is this ADHD? Like that's something that goes through my head 5 times a day. And I'm lucky to have found that I didn't have it. And I think I've kind of driven into it through social media, really, and other things. But that's a really good point, Jesse. Have you thought about doing making the course self-paced, or did you already say that?
So I have. That's another one of the things I could do is do like sell the course as like a self-paced thing. And that's like the least amount of work for me. But then one potential worry about that is, am I now like burning that? Like if somebody buys that, am I burning them as a customer to where like now they're not going to ever pay for the more expensive one, or like all they're going to do, because if it's self-paced, it's going to be cheaper. And so right now it's just trying to figure out the model that's going to make sense for people, and also for me to be able to like support continuing to make this stuff work.
I like the idea of you just doing the same thing again and putting people into that community, because I think you probably feel like you talked about it nonstop, but as someone who subscribes to your emails, like I do, and I follow you on social, I genuinely didn't feel like I saw it that much at all. So I think that there probably are some people who'd be really helped by the course. Now you have all these testimonials probably, and you could just take it right back out on tour and squeeze some more juice out of it, because it's great content. You worked really hard on it. Like, why not?
Yeah, I'm super proud of what it's come to. It's about like 3 hours now with I think 30 videos or something like that. And they're all like nice bite size, like kind of in that 5 to 7 minute range, which makes it easier to watch. So I think it's a really good product. I just gotta figure out the best way to sell it. What do you think, Marie? You look like you want to say something.
Oh, I was just thinking the content. I'm sure the content's really good based on your social media content. But I'm just thinking, if it's self-paced, do you think ADHDers would get through it? Do you think they'd have enough motivation to actually pace themselves and go through? Did you say 30 videos? They're all short.
30 they're all in modules. So it's like there's 7 modules, and then each module has 4 or 5 videos. So each module is about 20 to 30 minutes.
Because there's paying for the content, but there's also paying for motivation. And I want both. I want the content, but I'd pay extra for some motivation to do the content.
Especially for ADHD. Yeah.
I have so many unfinished courses.
I know. So there's that.
I've literally never finished one.
You kind of have the different range where on the low end is the self-paced, and then those have traditionally really poor completion rates, just like 5% and maybe even smaller, like really small. And then you kind of have the next level up, which is kind of what I did, which is like a hybrid model where it's kind of like a drip course. Like every week a module comes out, but then there's also some live workshops. And so that's what I did. And several people said, when we had the last workshop, a lot of people said, I crammed all the videos so that I would have watched them all before this workshop. So that kind of helped provide that motivation. And then you have the third level, which is the cohort course, where you're doing all of the teaching live and everyone's showing up every week. And that's probably the most motivating. And so part of me has thought maybe I want to do, probably not now, but maybe a little bit later, I might do a cohort version of the course, now that I've really solidified the content and we could go through it live. And then you have the fourth one, which is more of the mastermind, where you teach it, but then it's only you have a small group, maybe 5 to 10 people. And then it's much more you kind of teach
discussion.
A little bit, but then you're more hearing, discussion. It's kind of more like a mastermind, because you're kind of hearing oh, John, what is your situation? And then they would talk about there. And then you're like, oh, okay, let's all dig in and brainstorm on that. And it's much
almost
more
like group coaching, but with with
with sort of the framework of
Yeah.
the course as sort of your, just sort of guiding the mastermind. So so there's kind of these 4 tiers. I did the second one up to start, and now I have to figure out what to do next.
I wonder if you could ask people a little survey question thing at the beginning, and based on those questions say, I think this is the right course for you, or the right option of the course, whether it's self-helped or mastermind or somewhere in between, based on what they answer. So maybe if they say something like, I always cram stuff before a deadline, which is pretty much everyone with ADHD.
Right, yeah.
maybe that middle thing that you said, where you've got it's self-paced, but then you've got a workshop, and they know they need to do everything before that workshop, where there's a live component they need to catch up.
Couple deadlines.
Yeah, a deadline. But you can maybe guide them into that by saying which of these statements sort of best describes you, and have a couple of things. One is working toward a deadline, and depending on what they put, you just kind of funnel them into different parts of the different models for the course. And you also gather information, because it's a survey in a way, so you know where to place most of your effort.
Right. The tricky thing right now is then I have to do all that.
Oh, you have to choose which one right now to actually.
Yeah, because the self-paced one, The self-paced one I could do without me being involved, but everything else requires my live time. And so like if I did that and only a few people signed up for the cohort course, well, then it's not even worth my time anymore. Like the model doesn't make sense. And so
I'm confident you'll make a great decision on this, Jesse. I think one takeaway for sure is that you haven't oversaturated this. You have a lot of great things to say. People haven't heard it.
I appreciate that. It's so easy to feel that way. To feel like I talked about this so much and now people are going to think, what? You're selling the course again? You already just did that too. Like probably no one even realizes I did that.
Some people are just coming in new. They don't even.
That too. Yeah.
And this other account I follow, it's called Big Little Feelings on Instagram. It's parenting stuff. They will do this thing where they'll kind of just add a lesson to their existing course that they sell. So they do, I think it's mainly self-paced. So it's not apples to apples here, but they'll add like, hey, we just added potty training when they have a regression. We added potty training regressions, meaning like they start peeing their pants again. They added they just keep adding little troubleshooting things. And everyone who already bought the course.
I've considered to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You still get it if you already bought it. And then it's just a fresh way to talk about it again. So you're like, hey, this came up. So same, if you missed it last time, it's back and I've added one additional lesson. But I actually think you could go back out there without adding anything with a few testimonials and rock it and just and you could maybe mix up how you promote it, do some reels.
I know. That's the thing that I definitely need to do this time is actually doing some video stuff to promote it. Because I didn't do any reels before. I didn't do anything on my YouTube channel, which is silly.
I'm imagining you kind of a green screen with one of your tweets behind you, because I feel like that's what I think of with ADHD Jesse online. And you're kind of just in the green screen like this, but a course that actually helps you with this, and it's just like,
right. Yeah, I like that. That's really good.
So they're like, I think that's what I think social media, I know we get into content a lot, like trying to force yourself to do it the way anyone else does it. And I think that's our knee-jerk reaction because we see it working for them and we think it just doesn't ever work. So if you are camera shy and you don't like to do that, then just kind of think of a way that you can be off to the side or whatever. But I think that video could help, or you could clip have someone clip a few little snippets from the course and just run those as reels. And
yeah, that's actually, there's probably some good apps that I could just like literally throw some of my videos at to like pull out, to like use AI to find some clips and pull them out or something.
Yeah. I was going to say, you've got all those YouTube videos, the productivity ones.
Mm-hmm.
Which had like so many hits,
Yeah. All right, people, I'll do it.
Rinse and repeat. Give the people what they want.
Well, some of it might just also people might want to put a face to a name. And if you're going to do some live thing, then they might just want to see like that you can speak.
Yes. Yeah.
This podcast is also testament to that.
He can speak, everyone.
He can speak.
I can do it. I have a voice. And real quick to pivot, I'll just wrap up and say with WavePal. So I think we talked months ago, and I never gave an update on. I'm now have joined the alumni of people that have been denied by Y Combinator. We didn't make it in. We're still gunning strong with WavePal. We actually just he was in town for something unrelated this last week, my co-founder, and so we got to hang out a little bit and sort of chat. And we're actually actively working now on how to basically right now, the process for someone to sign up is they have to get an email from me and then they have to schedule a time and then we have to meet and then I do the walkthrough. And then if they want to buy, then I have like a way for them to buy. And then I manually create an account. It's like this really laborious manual process. And so what we're working on right now is actually like self-serve, where we can email out some like invite codes to people that are on the wait list. And then people can sign up by themselves. That'll be nice when we do that. And then we can start to really promote it and hit up the wait list and see if we can start getting some things going there. So I'm very excited about that. We kind of have we talked about kind of 3 pillars of the things we want to work on next. And that's kind of the first one of self-serve sign up so that we don't have to manually do all of the setup.
I think that what you were doing with the walkthrough really helped you understand the needs too. So I'm guessing you'll still try to do that. And, Superhuman, the email company, which was, Marie, didn't you send a link? What were they just acquired for? How much? They were just acquired.
I don't know how much, but Grammarly just acquired them.
Yeah.
I don't think they said how much, but.
So maybe not a lot. Or maybe Grammarly is not public, so they don't have to report it. Either way, they had a very remarkable email product at the time. It was kind of the talk of Silicon Valley. It was very big in the tech community. And they manually onboarded every new customer for a long time. So anyway, I'm not saying you should, and why should I force you to do that? I didn't do that. But I think that there's definitely value you're getting in that. So there probably is some sort of thing you could still do as you automate it. Maybe just think about how that was valuable and find little moments there.
So that's definitely something we don't want to lose, because every one of those calls that I did was super valuable. The thing that I was running into was just, I was kind of going through the list and sending out emails, and just not many people were scheduling. And I think there was enough friction there that people weren't wanting to sign up. And so when I did the calls, they went really great.
The demand is part of it too. I think Superhuman at that time got a pretty big
they got
list.
To where like huge demand. Everyone needed to try it. Everyone wanted
and they're
to try
like,
it.
yeah, I got the call. I'll book the call whenever. Like, give me this app. I want to be one of the cool kids.
Yeah, because I literally I heard about Superhuman. I went to sign up and I saw you had to schedule a call. I was like, ew, gross, no thanks. And then I ignored it for a year. And then a year later, I still really want it. And so I did the stupid call and I signed up for it. And I don't use it anymore. It's like it does some good things, some bad. But with that process, it certainly worked well for them, because it drove, like, the demand remained high, because you needed an invite to get in and you needed to schedule that call. So that really did work for them.
So I did the call as well. And I think one of the reasons it did well was because on the call, they're not actually showing you how to use the product so much. Like, that's part of it. But they're actually teaching you an approach to manage your inbox. They're actually teaching you like the strategy. And the product happens to do that strategy really well. But you don't actually need their product to follow the strategy. It's kind of this inbox. It's the inbox zero mindset, where something comes in, you decide if you're going to deal with it straight away. If you do, then you file it here or you snooze it or whatever. But the whole goal is to kind of work triage, basically. That's what they were teaching me on the call. But you can actually do all the superhuman things, like a lot of the shortcuts and stuff in Gmail. Nobody knows about it. I mean, I don't want to undermine it or anything, because like Superhuman has a really beautiful interface and they did really well on the UI and the UX for sure. Yeah, I just wanted to make the point about the call is about strategy and approach versus product training, which I thought was really interesting.
I would add that I feel like it was more like user insights. Like they were actually trying, like it was kind of a training call for you under the auspice of a user interview and for usability.
In terms of a product being sticky, if you don't have the right approach to using a product, you might not continue to use it. So part of it was also to make sure that people actually got value from the product because they were following this inbox zero strategy.
They understood. And also like there were some kind of pro level things that you had to figure out, like this.
I guess it's all of the
stuff.
above. Yeah. And the muscle memory and all that stuff.
Right.
And
we definitely saw that was helpful, that anyone we had a call with retained at least twice as long as the average customer. And so it was, and we did it under like his habit coaching, but through the habit coaching, we're like, okay, so this habit, so let's put that into the product and then let's have it remind you. And so basically we're helping them set up the product, and then it worked better for them because they set it up correctly, which obviously like having it easier to set up things correctly. And that's what one of the things we're doing with the iPhone app that we're working on, is trying to mimic those calls, but with an AI doing it instead. Essentially, like asking those questions, making sure that it's set up, making sure they're not like pie in the sky, and hoping that will help with retention, because people aren't just trying to throw everything in and just hope it fixes it, which was what we were seeing. So yeah, I mean, I think there's any way you can kind of touch the user, allow them to understand your product more, for sure. Marie, that's a really good point.
So one thing kind of related with that we had talked about a little bit was, well, so by letting people sign up themselves, it kind of presented like a whole thing of figuring out like, okay, actually, how does this work? Do they have to pay before they've even seen the product? Do we have some sort of trial? And the trial is kind of weird for our product because, like, as we've talked about before, like the when you use WavePal, we don't know how long it takes, because it might be that you add some stuff there and then 2 weeks later, you get a reminder that said, and you're like, oh, that's great. And then you have the win, the moment that it reminds you to like reach out to somebody or whatever. And so that makes it more difficult because if you give a 7-day trial, well, no one ever gets to that win.
But you can also have a small win before that, which is I put in all my information and then it goes, oh, you haven't talked to Jesse in like 2 months. And that's a little win because I'm like, oh, I didn't realize. But then the actual second win would be, I guess, reaching out to you to connect or meet in person. That would be like several wins, I guess. But you need a win that's big enough to go, I'll pay for it.
The big value prop.
The big win. Yeah.
The big value prop is, and we talked about this before, like that's a nice thing with Llama Life. Your value prop is really fast. You download the app, you add a task, you start it, and the timer's going, and you're like, oh, I just did the thing. This app is worthwhile for me. And which is really nice. So anyway, so one of the things we talked about.
I had a random thought.
Okay,
yeah. Okay. Sorry, ADHD.
Go for it.
Wait, maybe you could do something where you've got the trial and you set it up and they get a small win, which is like the knowledge that I haven't spoken to you in a while. So I get something small. I'm further along the track toward paying for it. But then maybe if they actually do meet with you or I make a phone call or a text to organize a meeting with you, like I get an extension of my trial because I did the thing. You know what I mean? Like, so
like
maybe
a meeting
7 days.
With me.
Yeah. So I took some action and maybe because of that, I can actually get a longer trial, like a few days added, or I get a first month free or something to reward me for doing the thing, which also extends me.
I love that idea. The thing I was just about to tell you is how we were going to let it to where if people scheduled a meeting with me, we would. That's the thing we talked about. But instead of doing like a time trial, we were thinking, well, what if we limit the amount of people they can add? So maybe the trial is you can only add, we haven't landed on the number for sure, but like you can only add 5 people. But then you have the option, like once you've added 5 people, like, hey, schedule, I don't know exactly how to frame it, but some sort of thing like that. Like, hey, schedule a call with one of the founders and we'll do like a walkthrough with you. And then we would like double the amount of people or something like that. And so we've thought about like maybe there's ways that people can add a bonus to the amount of people they have in their trial. But it's tricky because you don't want to discourage people from signing up if they unlock things and then you're like, well, now you pay and none of that matters anymore. And so like then it does that affect, do a discount? I don't know. It's like a whole complicated web. I don't know. We're way over time, but that's some of the stuff we're kind of playing with right now and just thinking about.
There's a small part of me that wants to go, yeah, let's try to figure out like exactly how to do this. But then there's another part of me that's just like, just chuck it out there. Just put it out there.
Just start messy and
just start messing with it. And then you've got it. Well, going back to our Oura conversation, then you've got a baseline to see when something does move versus trying to orchestrate like this experiment where you're like, I'm going to do this thing and see if that works in a short time. Just chuck it out there and then get the data for the baseline and then see if something moves. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will say for Llama Life, we're trying to figure out pricing and we spent days like doing a spreadsheet on different price points and trying to predict if we raise the price to this or we change the business model, how would that affect the revenue? Like we did all this forecasting. And in the end, it was a waste of time.
Right.
Because we didn't really have enough data to actually do it properly. And I feel like that's the situation you're in too, because you don't have enough data.
You never do. And you honestly really don't for a long time with a startup. Like it's actually like you can, there are websites, it's actually really helpful. You can like Google statistical significance and you have to have thousands and thousands, I guess, of data points to actually make something statistically significant. And you can put in, and you can even do this. You could put in like, I have 500 people and 10 of them want this. And it'll be like, well, here's the thing. And it has a statistical significance of like 1%. You know, like it's a good way to ground you in reality. And so I've always said, and you got to take a big swing. You got to just do it and not. And so you obviously have some gut things you're going with, but data will never get you there. At this stage in the company.
At this stage, yeah.
It just has to be, conversations can, qualitative stuff can.
And also random unforeseen events, like some influencer just mentions you out of the blue and you get a spike. And when you're a big company, that doesn't make as much of an impact, but when you're really small and that happens, then it's like huge.
Like it feels like once we get to the point where you can like publicly sign up for us or whatever, it does feel like every 6 months or so, there's some article in like the New York Times about the loneliness epidemic or something like that. And it feels like that sort of article, or like how difficult it is to make and keep friends in your 30s. And like those sort of articles happen a lot. And it feels like we could at some point be positioned to be like an app that gets mentioned in those types of articles. And so that's once we get there where we hopefully can start getting the name out there and things like that, that would be ideal for sure. Anyway, Sharon, we didn't give you a chance.
Sharon, you got 2 minutes.
You want to share with your company updates or whatever?
Whatever. Just kidding.
We can have Ian cut out the rest of the episode and we'll jump straight to your updates.
I basically was on vacation last week, so didn't get tons done, and tried to do a podcast recording, and it was hilarious because had horrible Wi-Fi, and they were like, bye, we're not doing this. Yeah, so Shelfful, we have a good amount of active beta testers. They're giving us a lot of great feedback. We have a lot of features that we've worked on kind of in response to the feedback, but also things that a lot of it was in our pipeline already, just kind of reprioritizing based on, what's being asked for more and most. But we're kind of at a pretty close feature set that I feel like we can launch with in the App Store, because I also don't want to just wait because they will always be better. So I'm trying to be the drumbeat person that's like, the current app is good. It's better than our service that people are still signing up for and paying for on WhatsApp, which again is a great service too. I liked it, but this one's better. So if it's better than that, then we should just launch it. So yeah, we're kind of getting things ready, and we applied for the small business discount with Apple like 4 weeks ago, and haven't heard back. Is that bad? I don't know.
I feel like that's a long time. I feel like, I don't know, it was a while ago since I did it, but I don't remember
this control issue with it because my co-founder did it, who's neurotypical. So I'm sure he did it right, but like I wasn't part of it. So I'm like, is it? Because he was the admin on it. And anyway, so I'm sure it was fine. But so I'm excited about that. And I think just kind of getting some like launch type stuff in order, and have been doing a lot of lead magnet stuff. So like I had this NFC tag course that I was selling for a probably reasonable price, and I like dropped it down to $1 to like just try to get more people in, and who speak our language, who want the things that we make. And same thing with this habit thing that we already made. So I'm basically taking any content we already have and dropping it down to really cheap to try to get people in to our email list so that we can tell them when we launch. Trying to bring people along for the ride for making it. We have like WhatsApp groups we have a bunch of WhatsApp groups with beta testers. So it's kind of just this free flowing exchange of feedback and information. So that's great. And I think that I definitely have some anxiety because I just feel like this is, we've been working. That's the thing about an app is you have to work. There's a lot of work that goes into building it, especially this is a chat app. That's a good amount of infrastructure and testing that need to happen. So we have a lot of work behind us and a lot of work ahead of us, but I feel like we're in kind of a good midpoint that hopefully we'll submit to the App Store either late this month or early August. And then we'll have
iOS first or both.
We just have iOS first. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. I think that the hardest part is deciding what goes in and what waits, because I think that in my mind, everything's priority always. And I really have to like hold it back. And then also when you have the basic features to make it functional, it's not always the fun features. And so like making sure like the fun comes through, and because that's a big part of our service is that it's like you were saying wins, Jesse. I say glow. Like I think that's kind of the thing that we try to give people, like that glowy feeling of having gotten something done and someone like telling you like really good job for it, or that you weren't going to do it. And then you got caught and called out, and then you did do it. There's this kind of glow feeling. And so trying to get that glow as early as possible, that's kind of what the name of the game is. So a lot of nerves, but we're getting closer, and yeah, it'll happen soon.
Nice. Yeah, I think the real lesson with kind of all the stuff we're talking about today is just do it, start messy, get it out there. Because I have this with like WavePal. It's like where it's all like hidden right now. But if we were out and people could sign up right now, like it's a product. It does what it's like. I'm using it. It does a thing. And a lot of it is just like I could hide away and perfect it for 4 or 5 years. But I really just need to get it out there so people are really like using it, because it already provides a lot of value. And it sounds like that's where you're at too.
Yeah. And I kind of guess I give like a larger update, but in terms of a weekly update, my priority to get done is I totally messed up a tax thing because I don't read mail because I have ADHD and I need to fix that. So that's now become my top priority, because when you have a business, you have to do that kind of stuff. You got to pay taxes. As a small business, you don't really owe any taxes. You just have to fill out a lot of forms and do a lot of stuff just to pay nothing.
The irony of people with ADHD being drawn to entrepreneurship, and then all of these ADHD traps and taxes and paperwork that all seem to exist there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's like that hidden cost, the business admin. People always say to me, what are you doing? Like, you haven't released any features. I'm like, I'm trying to run the business. I have to do all this admin stuff. Like, the tax, different forms, just to keep it alive. There's a lot. Well, it feels like a lot, but it's probably not that much, but it feels like a lot to me.
Well, it feels like a lot, especially when you mess
when
up
you don't
and
like doing it.
I think, yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. But the thing that's missing is a big deal. So, like, the state of Washington, I think, just closed this thing that you thought would happen, Jesse, happened. Our tax account and business license got canceled in the state of Washington because I didn't reply to this one thing. So,
oh my gosh, now I'm going to stress about that again. Oh man.
Well, yeah, maybe you should, because I should have probably more, because I thought that it was handled because I have this accounting service I use called pilot.com. A lot of startups use them. And I thought they do all the tax stuff. So I assumed if they weren't asking me for something, I didn't need to do anything.
Right.
But that's not what happened in this case.
Bummer.
And these are this is just like the ADHD tax moment of this is the kind of high and low of being an ADHD founder. Is you feel like you really put in your best on the product, and then you totally screw up like a real life thing that you feel like any adult should be able to do. And I can tell myself I have ADHD, and that's an excuse for it, but it still feels pretty crappy. Oh,
man. Well, very relatable.
I've definitely
for sure.
had those moments.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm here for. I would say I probably should just go and call the Washington Department of Revenue, because I didn't do that today. Still, I'll do it tomorrow. I think they're closed.
So when we do our next podcast,
I'll do it tomorrow.
When we ask for the update, you would have done it.
Yeah, I think
that
should be. I think so. We're talking next week too, right? So yeah,
let's
do it.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Sounds
Appreciate
good.
the encouragement. Hey, Jesse, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on all the socials, ADHD Jesse, or go to extrafocus.com, which is where my newsletter is, or wavepal.app to join the want list for that. Marie, how about you?
You can find Llama Life in the App Store and also Google Play. You can find me on Instagram at 3 Hour Coffee, spelled out 3 Hour Coffee. And Sharon, where can people find you?
You can find me at Shelpful. That's SHELPFUL. And socials and shelpful.com. And soon to come to the App Store. And you can find us all at ADHD Founders, ADHD_Founders. On Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And we actually have an intern we were using has kind of stayed with us through the summer. So hopefully more social posts are going to be showing up. So if you don't already follow us there, you should, because you'll get kind of the best little clips of this show.
Yeah, do it.
Show? Is that what this is? All right. Shout out to Elizabeth for clipping this.
And shout out to Ian for editing this and making us all sound good.
More than
Or
anything,
at least better
Ian.
than what we started as.
Right. All right. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.